Hey guys, in today's video we're checking out a brand new wireless in-ear monitor system by Phenyx Pro. This is the PTM-33 and this system has 4 separate in-ear monitor mixes all in one. It only takes up 1 U of rack space and you get 4 separate individual mono mixes with 4 separate body packs with this system. So this is a great budget in-ear monitor system for your entire band, depending on how many members you have, of course. So Phenyx Pro did send this to me to check out to review for the channel. It's not a paid video. All the opinions in this video are my own. However, I've reviewed multiple Phenyx Pro products on this channel. They do such a great job doing affordable budget stuff for musicians, and this system is no exception. However, with anything budget or cheap, there's always limitations with it. So in this video, we're going to check out to see if this system is right for you and your band. So I'm going to go over setup, specs, how it works, pros and cons, and stuff like that to see if this is something that you can be interested in. So 3 things just really quick. 1, if you're brand new to in-ear monitors, I highly recommend watching my beginner's guide to in-ear monitors to get the understanding of what in-ear monitors are and how they work, and then come back and watch this video. 2nd, if you do decide that this system is right for you, you can use promo code ScottYulMusic at checkout from the Phenyx Pro website to get 5% off your entire purchase. That's for anything on the Phenyx Pro website, by the way, not just this system, but use the link down below and then promo code ScottYulMusic to get 5% off. And then 3rd, I will be doing a giveaway at the end of this video of something related to the PTM-33. To find out what that is and what I'm giving away and how to win this, you're gonna have to stick around to the end of the video. So before we get started, this is a music tech channel. I do gear reviews, tutorials, I do gear giveaways on this channel. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell to be notified when I put out new videos, and hitting the thumbs up button is a free way to support the channel. All right, let's check out the PTM-33. All right, so what's included in the box? They really do give you everything that you need in order to get started with this. So first of all, you have obviously the main unit. You get 2 antennas. That's all you need for this, which is great. You don't need 4 antennas. You just need the 2. And you can either attach them to the back or rack them to the front, and I'll address that here in a little bit. You get 4 body pack receivers, power supply, screws and stuff for rack mounting it. And you can actually see that's how I've been using it for shows. So I already have this attached already for some of the rack mounting stuff. You do get a manual. You do get a warranty, like all the Phenyx Pro stuff. You get 1-year warranty on it. And on top of that, you also get 4 sets of earbuds, 1 for each musician. Really insane how much stuff you get for this price. All right, so for setup, so plug in power in the back. And then if you are going to use this not in a rack, you're going to attach the antennas back here. So you can see in the back, it has the inputs for channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and channel 4. You do get 2 inputs. It says left mono and then right. This is a little deceiving because it is not a stereo system. This is a mono system. So why do they give you 2 inputs? So you could do this if you're not using like an in-ear monitor rack or something like that, where you're getting a full mix. If you just wanted to get your guitar and a click track or something like that into your ears, that's the only thing you hear, that's what you would use these for. But it is a mono system, so most of the time you just need to plug in the 1 into the mono input. You do also get a loop out if you want to pass that signal out to go to somewhere else. I do have a video explaining why you might want to use something like that if you are interested. So make your connections to each of the channels. Whatever musician 1 is going to hear, plug that in to channel 1, musician 2 into channel 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so power it up. And it's pretty straightforward, actually. So you can see each of the 4 in-ear monitor mixes. You have mix 1, mix 2, mix 3, and mix 4. And then you have volume control over each of them. So if your signal's too quiet, turn it up. It's too loud, turn it down. And you get individual control over each of them with each of these 4 knobs. Now you can see currently that mix 1 is set to group 3, channel 1. This is just the frequency that it's set to. Every wireless has a frequency that it needs to transmit on, and most of the time it's organized in groups and channels. And you can see that you have individual control over the groups and channels of each of the 4 in-ear monitor mixes. So if I want to change the group on monitor mix 1, I would push the group button. So now I have it set to group 1, and then I want to change a channel as well. I'm going to push the channel button, and I'm going to set that to channel 1. So now in-ear monitor mix 1 is set to a new frequency. It's set to group 1, channel 1. Let's do the same thing for monitor mix 2. It's currently set to group 4, channel 6. Push the group button. Let's change that to group 3 and channel 10. So now I've changed the channels that each of those monitor mixes are transmitting on. So every musician is going to wear one of these body packs. You can see when I turn it on, you'll see what it's currently set to. So you can see this one's currently set to group 3, channel 1. And you get some other indicators like a battery indicator. You can see the mute indicator is on, meaning it's not getting a signal right now. So how do I set these to the right channel? Well, nice and simple. You have all 4 of these sync buttons right here in the middle. If I want to sync this body pack to hear the mix from the first mix channel, hit sync. Put it right in front of it. It syncs over infrared. And now you can see it is set to group 1, channel 1. And now you can see that the RF bars have come on, which means that I'm getting a strong wireless signal. Nice and simple. And you'll just do the same thing for all the other body packs as well. So let's say musician 1 is the singer in your band, and they're going to hear what's going into mix 1. They're going to take their body pack and hit sync for this first one. And now their body pack will receive the mix that is being sent to mix 1. If your guitar player is musician 2, they're going to take their body pack, hit sync on 2, and now their body pack will be set to the same group and channel as mix 2, and therefore they will hear mix 2. And you'll do that for all 4 body packs. Okay, so now I'm sending some audio to mix 1. This is the singer's mix. And again, remember, you can turn the volume up or turn the volume down. So if the signal is too hot, obviously turn it down. If it's too quiet, turn it up. And you can also see on the body pack, you do get a level meter as well, which is really nice. You can see it on the transmitter and you can see it on the receiver body pack. Very cool. Something cool about this is that any of the body packs can sync with any of the mix channels. So when I first got this, I was going to put labels on it 1, 2, 3, 4, and stuff like that. But you can also just sync these to any of the channels. So right now, this one's currently synced to group 10, channel 6, which is the 4th mix. I can go push sync 3, and this will sync to channel 3. So now you can see it's set to group 8, channel 5. So you don't even have to keep track of who is whose mix. Your singer can just grab a body pack and then go and hit sync to sync 1. Your guitar player grabs any of the body packs, hits sync 2, bass player syncs to 3, and drummer syncs to 4, for example. You don't have to do it that way. You could label them as well, but it's a cool feature. Any of the body packs can sync to any of the channels, which also means you can share a mix. So you already have 4 of them, but if you have, 6 people in the band or something like that, 2 people can share mix 3 and 2 people can share mix 4. Just an idea. Pretty cool. Okay, the important specs really fast. The wireless range is about 50 meters. Frequency response is from 50 hertz up to 16 kilohertz. That's great. Battery life is longer than 6 hours. And this operates in the 900 megahertz frequency, specifically 902 to 928 megahertz. So as far as price, this is listed at $490, which is quite an insane deal. That's basically $120 per musician. That's awesome if your band is looking at getting into in-ear monitors. Keep in mind my single Sennheiser system that I use is $1,000, so this is like a tenth of the price of that. Obviously you get more features with expensive stuff, but for the basics with everything all in one, that's quite a killer deal. Don't forget you can use promo code ScottYuleMusic to get 5% off of that from the Phenyx Pro website. I will link to Amazon links down below as well, because I know some people prefer Amazon, but Phenyx Pro does do a great job with shipping. I've ordered multiple things from them. And you get 5% off if you use that code. And it supports the channel. But links for both of them will be down below in the description. Okay, so one of the best things about this system is that it combines all of the systems into one U of rack space and to just 2 antennas. One of the biggest mistakes people make with wireless gear, cheap or expensive, is they'll put too much wireless gear and too many antennas all in close proximity of each other. If you had 4 separate in-ear monitor transmitters, not this system, 4 individual ones, and you put them all in a rack together, that's 4 antennas, sometimes 8 antennas all stacked on top of each other. That's a great way to get dropouts and to reduce range and stuff like that. This is awesome because you have 4 of them in one U of rack space and it just uses 2 antennas. So it already acts basically as an antenna combiner, which is awesome. Normal antenna combiners are quite pricey, but this is already built in. 4 wireless, 2 antennas. That's awesome. I love that about this system. I also like how very easy to use and how well designed this is. It's very simple. I didn't have to use the manual at all. Everything's clearly labeled. Changing the group and channel for each of the individual mixes was very clearly labeled. Syncing is very easy. Volume control was very quick and easy to do. This doesn't take a whole lot of understanding and it's definitely great for a beginner. The audio quality is crystal clear. I didn't hear a difference going from my high-end system to this system. It sounds great. Sometimes cheap and budget stuff can kind of compress the sound, or it'll make it sound like a little muddy or a lack of clarity in the high end. This one sounded awesome. Literally sounded no different from my high end stuff. And the range is very solid as well. With something in this price point, you shouldn't be planning to go more than 50 feet up to 100 feet away from your in-ear monitor system anyways, but the range is great on this system. So as far as cons, there's really only one with this system, and it ties into the frequency. So it says that it goes from 902 to 928, and that is correct, but it's not quite that simple, and I do want to make sure you guys understand something about this. So if you look at the groups and the channels, all 4 different mixes do not go from 902 to 928 megahertz. It's divided up into 4 different sections. So the first mix only has options to go from 902.35 up to 908.35. The second mix only goes from 908.6 to 914.6. 3 goes from 915.35 to 921.35, and the fourth one goes from 921.6 to 927.6. Each of those only have about 6 megahertz of range. So the thing is, if for example you're playing a show and between 920 to 928 megahertz is already taken by a bunch of other stuff, channel D basically cannot be used. Channel D does not have a way to search for something or set their system to 910, for example. So if there's one thing that I would improve on over the system, it would be that all 4 of the different mixes would span from 902 to 928, and you would just have access to all the groups and all the channels. And obviously, you would just make sure that none of them were set to the same channel. But again, you are spending less money. Budget wireless usually has less channels than the more expensive stuff. Now, one of the things I make sure to mention on this channel, because I've reviewed a ton of wireless stuff on this channel, is the more frequencies and the more channel options that you have, the less likely it is that your wireless will not work at a show. Cheap stuff often has less available channels. So this one, for example, each of the different mixes have only 6 megahertz of tuning range, also known as RF tuning bandwidth. But that's just the range of the frequency options that you have to find a clear signal. The bigger the range, the more options that you have. My $1,000 system has 46 megahertz of tuning bandwidth. Now, not everyone is able to just drop $1,000 onto each in-ear monitor system for each musician, so it's up to you to make this balance of budget versus how many frequencies you want to have available. So my singer and my drummer in the band that I use this with the most, they both use Phenyx Pro in-ear monitor systems as well. My singer uses the PTM-11, which is basically just the same as this system, just as a single unit. And that one spans from 902 to about 915. So there's about 13 megahertz of frequencies that he has to find a clear channel. For the shows that we played using the PTM-33, he only had 6. My drummer, he uses the PTM-10, which goes from 902 to 928 megahertz, so that's about 26 megahertz of tuning bandwidth. Normally he has 26 megahertz. For these shows, it dropped to only 6. So all of us had less options available of frequencies. So that's something to keep in mind with cheaper stuff, and I try to make sure that everyone understands this with budget wireless gear, because a lot of people don't understand this. When you have a limited number of space for frequencies, if those frequencies are taken by something else in the area, you can't use the wireless. So the more options that you have for the number of channels that you have, the more likely it is that you're going to find a clear signal. That's what you pay for with higher end wireless products. And the other thing is that we use a lot of wireless in that band. 3 wireless mics, 3 wireless for guitars, 3 wireless in-ear monitor systems, and even a wireless for backing tracks, which is ridiculous, but that's how obsessed I am with wireless. I am working on a video for that should be coming out soon. So as far as my experience with these, they've worked great at the shows. I will say that I did occasionally get a dropout with these, but when I say dropout, I mean they were very brief. It dropped out and then instantly came back. So I want to be very clear, this didn't stop the show at all or anything like that. It was just a brief dropout and then it instantly came back. My singer didn't really seem to have like any problems with it. My drummer seemed to have probably the most problems with it, but then I did a show with my wife as a duo and we had 0 problems with it. So I do want to just go over that just a little bit. So side note, one of the coolest shows I ever got to do was in 2019. I got to fly over to the Middle East and we got to play for the military out there. One of the coolest shows I've ever done in my life. Also one of the hottest shows I've ever done in my life. My expensive $1,000 in-ear monitor system stopped working about an hour into our set. I still have no idea what went wrong with that because it's worked fine ever since then. I'm assuming it just overheated because like I said, it was insanely hot. But that was, hey, my in-ears did not work at all. That was a completely different thing. That was with my $1,000 system. With these, it was a brief dropout and it came right back in. Lasted less than a second. I think a part of it is because we have so much wireless in our band, and specifically our singer has a microphone in 900 and he also has a guitar that's in 900. But I would recommend not using anything else in the 900 megahertz frequency if you're going to use this system. So for the first show we did, mine cut out maybe twice in the 3 hours that we played. That's nothing, that's no problem. The second show is where I had probably the most problems, and it would drop out like every 30 minutes or something like that. We played the show 4 hours. It didn't stop the show by any means. The other 3 shows, it was flawless. I had 0 problems with it. My singer also mentioned that it worked great. I think at the first show, he said he had 1 quick dropout. Every other night, it was flawless for him. My drummer seemed to have the most problems with it. He seemed to have more dropouts, but again, I would have never noticed that the system dropped out on him. We all played to a click. He didn't lose the click at all. Everything was completely fine. And even even he mentioned when I asked him, I was like, hey, how'd the in-ear monitors work? He was like, oh, I got a few dropouts. It wasn't like, oh my God, this thing sucks. It was just like, oh, I got a few dropouts, but it was fine. And you know, if a drummer doesn't take the opportunity to complain about something, you know it's really not a big deal. I'm just kidding. Sort of. Maybe. I had to get a drummer joke in. But in all seriousness, he played completely fine that night. He just said occasionally it would get a little bit of a dropout. So for the last show, I actually got an antenna combiner, a passive antenna combiner, to combine the two antennas into one antenna. It's this omnidirectional one. I have a separate video on that if you want to check it out. But it's just a way to strengthen the signal. Again, worked flawlessly for me and my singer, but our drummer had just like a few dropouts with it. So I was stumped after that. I was like, why are you getting dropouts? I have no idea what's going on because mine's working fine. So the next gig that I did with these was with my duo with my wife. We have 2 wireless mics, 2 wireless guitars, 2 wireless in-ears, and then the wires for backing tracks, and then a Wi-Fi router and some Bluetooth pedals. I even plugged into channel 3 because that's the one my drummer was using. I even used his body pack to see if I could figure out what was going on. I had 0 problems. That entire night, it never cut out once. My best guess is because we already have that 900 microphone, that's just too much 900 going on, especially since, you know, each bandwidth is only about 6 megahertz wide. Your 900 is already pretty taken. So that's my best advice, is I wouldn't recommend this if you have a ton of wireless already, especially if you have a bunch of stuff on 900 megahertz. So if you are looking to go up a little higher than that, I do recommend checking out the Phenyx Pro PTM-10s. So those are a stereo system, and those go from 902 to 928. And the thing is that's cool about that is it's a stereo system. So you can either get one stereo mix sent to you, to one musician, or you can get 2 separate mono mixes from one transmitter. If you want to find out how to do that, I have a video walking you through that, and you can check out that video by clicking the link up above or down below. So you can get 1 transmitter and 2 receivers, and that will span the whole 902 to 928. So if you do want more frequency options, that is also a good option. I also did reach out to Phenyx Pro saying that I was getting an occasional dropout with this system, and they did say that these are the 3 best combinations to try between each of the channels. So I'm posted on the screen now. You know, these are the different groups and the different channels for each of the mixes. So you want to try starting here first when you set these up. Just something to keep in mind, and definitely something worth knowing. So it's worth screenshotting this or writing it down. But actually, I know I was making fun of my drummer earlier, but he actually said probably the best thing to summarize this system. The way he said it is, the system isn't perfect, but it's damn good, and I would pay $500 for this system. I wish I would have filmed him saying that when he was saying that at one of our shows, but he did text that to me, and I wanted to make sure to include that in the video because it's just such a perfect summary of the system. It's not perfect, but it's damn good, especially for this price. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, if you did happen to get interference, so say channel 3 was giving you trouble, whoever is on channel 3, because all the body packs can sync to any of the channels, they can quickly go and sync to channel 4 or something like that and share a mix with whoever's on channel 4. Obviously, you don't get your own mix, but in a pinch, to be able to just switch to someone else's mix. So that is a really cool option just in case if one of the channels is giving you trouble. So I do still recommend the system for sure. I do just want you to understand what happens when you buy budget wireless gear. If you do want to go up another level, looking into the PTM-10s is definitely worth looking into. And again, I do have a video review about that system, as well as how to do the 2 mono mixes from 1 transmitter. So again, if you are interested in checking this out for yourself, don't forget to use promo code ScottEwellMusic on the Phenyx Pro website to get 5% off your entire purchase. Okay, but like I mentioned, I am doing a giveaway for this video. So what am I going to be giving away? I'm giving away this. I'm giving away the entire system. Everything that's included in here, I'm giving that away to one of my subscribers. I do think that this could be a great system for someone who's looking at venturing into in-ear monitors for their band, especially if you don't already have a bunch of wireless. I'm also incredibly grateful for how much this channel has grown. I'm just about to pass 40,000 subscribers, which is crazy because just at the end of last year, I just hit 20,000. So I'm incredibly thankful to you guys for making this channel what it is, and I love giving back as often as I can, so I'd rather give this back to you guys. So I'm giving away the entire system. So a few things is that, one, this is only for the United States. So the 900 megahertz is legal in the United States. It's not legal in all countries. But also the other reason is that shipping overseas is just getting crazy and ridiculous. So sorry, this one is only for the United States, but I will do more giveaways in the future for other international subscribers as well. So to be entered into this giveaway, 2 things. 1, you have to be a subscriber. So if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. And second, you have to leave a comment down below. And at some point, you have to use the magic phrase. The magic phrase for this one is, I want all my Garmonbosia. If you're a Twin Peaks fan, you know what that means. Twin Peaks is my favorite show. So it's a weird word, weird series too, but it's my favorite show. So you're going to have to do a little research. You have to figure out how to spell Garmonbosia. So the magic phrase is, I want all my Garmin Bosia. At some point in the comments, you have to say that. I got to make it a little tougher for you guys, right? This has been really easy so far. I will do the giveaway on Monday after this video comes out. That will be on this date right here. I'll announce it on my stories on Instagram and YouTube, and I'll also do it in the community tab, and I'll also notify the winner in the comments down below. Please do not respond to scammers. I am never, ever going to ask you for money for these giveaways. So if you respond to a scammer and they start asking you for money for shipping or something, that's 100% a scam. Please do not respond to them. But thank you guys again for watching. That's basically it. If you guys found this content helpful, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. It does a ton to help out the channel, and I would appreciate it. So definitely check out my video on the PTM-10. That's definitely a level up from this system. If you're looking at spending a little bit more money, it's definitely a great system to look into because it does have 26 megahertz of tuning bandwidth. And also on top of that, you should watch my video on how to get 2 separate mono mixes from one transmitter using that system, because that's also a great way to save money if you guys are okay with mono mixes, which is what I use most of the time. So you can check out both those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at ScottYuleMusic. Also, don't forget to use promo code ScottYuleMusic to get 5% off your entire order from the Phenyx Pro website. Thank you again to Phenyx Pro for sending me this to check out. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Is that even on the screen?